I was standing in a crowded room. The air was thick with tension. It felt like everyone was holding their breath, waiting for something to happen. And then he walked in. Now, I need you to picture the scene clearly. This wasn't just any room. This was a space where powerful people gathered, people with influence, people whose opinions could shape entire industries. The millionaire, the man in charge of this place, was sitting at the head of the table. His reputation preceded him, arrogant, demanding, and utterly convinced that his money could buy him anything. But the moment the man entered the room, everything changed. The millionaire shot a glance at him, and it was clear. He was uncomfortable. He didn't even try to hide it. It was the way the man carried himself, confident, calm, and different. He didn't look like the others. He didn't belong to the elite circle. And that, right there, is where the story begins. The millionaire didn't even wait a second before giving the order. His voice cut through the room like a knife. "Stop him! Don't let him in!" I could feel the weight of those words hanging in the air. The man, standing just at the threshold, was being judged before he even had the chance to speak. A simple glance, a preconceived notion based on nothing more than appearance, was enough to decide his fate. The millionaire had spoken, and in that world, his words were gospel. But then something unexpected happened, something that no one saw coming. The man paused. He didn't flinch. He didn't argue. He didn't try to fight back or make a scene. Instead, he calmly reached into his bag. He pulled something out. And in that instant, the entire room fell silent. Now, I need you to understand something important about that moment. It wasn't just the object he pulled out of his bag. It was the way he did it. He wasn't trying to prove anything. He wasn't trying to force himself into a space where he wasn't welcome. He wasn't shouting about his worth or his right to be there. He just pulled it out, quietly, confidently, and the room knew instantly that something had shifted. For the first time, the millionaire wasn't in control. The man wasn't the one on trial anymore. No, it was the millionaire. It was his perception, his bias, his judgment that was now under scrutiny. Let me tell you what he pulled out of that bag, because it wasn't just some random object. It was a small, unassuming envelope. Nothing special. But when he held it up, the way the light hit it, the way it seemed to shimmer for just a second, that was when it hit me. The envelope wasn't important. The content inside didn't matter at that moment. It wasn't about the object. It was about what that object represented. It represented something far more powerful than wealth or status. It represented the truth, and that's the point I want to make. Too often, we get caught up in the things that are easiest to see: status, wealth, appearances. We allow people to judge us based on what they see on the surface. The millionaire judged the man based on his appearance, his race, his background. But that envelope, it didn't care about any of that. It was about what you bring to the table, not what people expect you to bring. It was about the value you hold inside, not the label that others try to place on you. The moment that envelope was revealed, the entire room understood that this man was not here to play by their rules. It was a shift in the power dynamics. It was the kind of moment that changes everything, and it left me wondering, what would happen if we all realized that we had that same power? Now, let me explain how this applies to you. How can you use this moment, this lesson, to not only change how others perceive you, but to also unlock your own potential? Imagine for a second that you are the one in that room. Imagine that you are the one being judged before you even have a chance to speak. What would you do? How would you react? I'll tell you this: too many people let the judgments of others dictate their path. They let the world decide who they are and what they're capable of. But the truth is, no one else can define your worth. No one else has the right to put you in a box and say, this is all you will ever be. Just like the man in the room, you have something in your bag. It's not a literal object, but it's something much more powerful. It's your knowledge, your talents, your experiences, the unique value that you bring to the table. And when you learn to pull that out, quietly and confidently, you'll see how quickly the room can change. Now let me share something personal. I've been in situations where I felt like I didn't belong, where I thought I wasn't good enough, or I was judged based on something I had no control over, like my background or my appearance. And I'll be honest with you, it stings. It's frustrating. It can make you feel small, insignificant. But here's the thing. You don't have to buy into that. You don't have to let the world write your story for you. You have the power to change the narrative. But it starts with confidence. It starts with knowing that you bring something to the table that no one else can offer. And sometimes, all it takes is that quiet, powerful moment of pulling out your envelope, whatever it may be. I want to take you back to that room for a second. When the man pulled out that envelope, the millionaire's face shifted. It wasn't just surprise. It was something deeper. It was realization. He saw that the man wasn't just anyone. He saw that the man wasn't trying to impress him or anyone else. He wasn't there to fight. He was there because he had something worth sharing. And when that realization hit, the room shifted. And that's the exact moment that I want you to understand. It wasn't about trying to fit into their world. It wasn't about changing who you are to meet their expectations. It was about bringing something so powerful to the table that they had no choice but to see you for what you truly were. Now, I want to take you through a story. I want you to hear how this same principle can change not just how you're perceived, but how you perceive yourself. Let's talk about someone I know, a real person, not just an example. His name is David. David wasn't born into privilege. He didn't grow up with money, and he certainly didn't have a fancy pedigree. But what he did have was something no one could take away from him: his talent and his drive. David had always been the kind of person who stayed in the background. He didn't seek attention, didn't look for approval. But there came a moment when he realized that his silence wasn't going to get him anywhere. He had something to offer, and it was time to stop hiding it. One day, David found himself in a high-stakes meeting with investors. These were the types of people who could make or break his career. And as the meeting went on, he could feel the tension in the room. It was clear they didn't take him seriously. They saw him as just another guy, someone who wasn't cut out for the big leagues. But then David did something unexpected. He didn't argue. He didn't beg for their approval. He simply pulled out his proposal. A proposal that was more than just a business plan. It was a vision. It was something different, something bold, something they hadn't seen before. And when he laid it on the table, their reactions were immediate. At first, they were skeptical. But as they read through the proposal, their expressions changed. Slowly, they started to understand that David wasn't just another hopeful entrepreneur. He was someone who had done the work, who had thought outside the box, who had a vision that could actually change the game. That day, David didn't just win their approval. He earned their respect. And it wasn't because he was the smartest person in the room. It wasn't because he was the most experienced. It was because he had the courage to pull out his envelope, the one thing that truly mattered, and show the world who he really was. And that's what I want for you. I want you to realize that you too have an envelope, and the world is waiting for you to pull it out. It's easy to doubt yourself, especially when the world tells you that you don't fit the mold. But let me be clear, the mold is broken. There are no predefined paths anymore. The old rules of success, the ones that say you need a certain background, a certain look, or a certain type of education, those rules are being shattered every day. Look at the people who are changing the game, the ones who are not waiting for permission, who are not defined by their circumstances. Take someone like Elon Musk. His story isn't the conventional path to success. He came from humble beginnings and faced countless obstacles, but he never let anyone dictate his limits. And what did he do? He created a space industry. He revolutionized electric cars. He saw the future, and he decided to make it happen. It wasn't about money or privilege. It was about vision and relentless action. And above all, it was about bringing something to the table that no one else had. Think about it. What would have happened if Elon had waited for validation from the elite? What if he'd said, "I don't belong in this room"? He never would have pulled out that envelope, his envelope, and changed the world. But that's not just his story. That could be yours. And here's the kicker. You don't need to be a billionaire or a tech genius to pull it off. All you need is to recognize that you have something valuable to offer, and then own it. You need to stop asking for permission and start taking your seat at the table. Now, I know what you're thinking, but what if they still don't accept me? And to that I say, so what? The point isn't to fit in. The point is to stand out, to present something that others haven't seen, something they can't ignore. If you're still in the mindset of needing everyone to like you or accept you, you're doing it wrong. The room doesn't need to agree with you, but they need to respect you. And respect is earned when you stop hiding behind self-doubt and start showing up as the person you truly are. So, let's take a step back. Think about your own envelope. What do you have in your bag that others don't? I'm not talking about your resume or your credentials. I'm talking about your unique perspective, your talents, your experiences, the things that make you different. What is it that only you can bring to the table? You might be thinking, but I don't have anything special. Trust me, I've been there. I felt like I wasn't enough, like I wasn't ready to step into the spotlight. But here's the secret. No one is ever ready in the way we think we should be. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment or for all the stars to align. You just have to act. I want to share another story with you, one that I think perfectly illustrates this idea. This is about a woman named Lisa. Lisa had always been a creative person, but for years she kept her ideas to herself. She worked a regular job, following the routine, doing what was expected of her, but deep down she knew she had something more to offer. One day, Lisa decided she couldn't keep quiet anymore. She started her own YouTube channel, something she had always wanted to do, but had been too scared to pursue. The first video? It was far from perfect. The lighting was off, the editing wasn't smooth, and she stumbled over her words. But do you know what happened? People watched. They didn't care about the small imperfections. What they saw was her passion, her authenticity. They saw someone who was real, someone who wasn't afraid to be herself. Lisa kept at it, and over time, her channel grew. She started getting sponsorships, collaborations, and recognition. But it wasn't the success she achieved that was the most important thing. It was the way she transformed in the process. She stopped worrying about what others thought and started focusing on what she had to give. And that's when everything clicked. Lisa's envelope wasn't a product or a skill that no one else had. It was her story. It was her willingness to show up as herself, to share her voice in a world that often told her to stay silent. And in doing so, she built a community of people who respected her, who were inspired by her, and who saw her as someone worthy of being at the table. The moment you stop hiding and start showing up as yourself, that's when things begin to change. And it's not always easy. You will face resistance. People will judge you. But remember this: judgment isn't a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their limitations. Let me remind you again, the millionaire tried to shut the door on the man before he even knew who he was. But when the man pulled out that envelope, it wasn't just about changing their perception. It was about teaching everyone in the room a lesson that we all need to hear. The world doesn't owe you a seat at the table, but that doesn't mean you can't demand it. And you don't demand it by begging for approval. You demand it by bringing something they can't ignore. This is where your true power lies. It's not in fitting into the existing system, but in shaking it up. In making them see that you're not just another face in the crowd, but someone who has the courage to be different, to stand tall, and to bring value in ways they never expected. And when you do that, you will not only change how people see you, you will change how you see yourself. So I want you to leave here today with one thought in mind. What's in your bag? What do you have inside you that the world needs to see? What are you holding back? Because once you start pulling that out, you won't just be walking into a room. You'll be changing the entire room. This isn't about impressing people or seeking validation. It's about stepping into your own power and showing up as your full, unapologetic self. That's the kind of energy that transforms rooms. And that's the kind of energy that the world needs right now. Are you ready to pull out your envelope? I promise you, once you do, everything will change. And from there, you'll never go back. Once you pull out your envelope, you'll feel a shift within you, a quiet yet undeniable sense of empowerment. It's not just about the response from others. It's about the response you give to yourself. You'll no longer be the person who doubts their worth or waits for validation. You'll be the person who knows their value, who understands that what they bring to the table isn't just another piece of the puzzle. It's the missing piece that completes the whole picture. Let me tell you something. I've met countless people throughout my career. Some were wealthy, some were successful in traditional terms, but the ones who truly stood out were the ones who understood their worth, regardless of their status or position. They didn't play by the rules of the system. They created their own, and that's the key. The ability to create your own rules, to stand firm in your purpose and your value, even when the world around you is telling you that you don't fit in. I've seen entrepreneurs with no formal education, but an incredible knack for innovation. I've seen artists who came from humble beginnings and transformed entire industries simply because they understood that their uniqueness was their greatest asset. I've seen athletes, musicians, and creators from all walks of life achieve greatness not because they conformed, but because they had the courage to show up as themselves unapologetically without compromise. Take someone like Oprah Winfrey. She didn't just build a brand, she built an empire. And it wasn't because she was the best at what others were doing. It was because she wasn't afraid to share her story, to show up as herself, flaws and all. She used her voice to amplify the voices of others, and in doing so, she created a space where everyone could feel seen and heard. That's the kind of power you wield when you stop hiding your worth and start owning it. But here's the thing. You don't need to be Oprah to make this work for you. You don't need to be the most famous or the most successful person in the room. You just need to believe in the value of what you bring. And I'm not talking about surface-level value. I'm talking about the deep core value that only you can provide. The experiences that shaped you, the lessons you've learned, the unique perspective you bring to the table. Once you understand that, you stop looking to others for validation. You stop asking for permission. You start creating opportunities, not just waiting for them. The problem is that most people wait. They wait for the right moment, for the perfect opportunity, for everything to align. But let me tell you something. There's no perfect moment. The world is constantly shifting, and if you're waiting for things to be just right, you're going to miss out on everything. The perfect time to pull out your envelope is now. It's not tomorrow. It's not next year. It's today. Think about all the things you've put off in your life because you thought you weren't ready. Think about all the opportunities you've missed because you were waiting for the stars to align. Now think about what could happen if you stopped waiting and started acting. What if you showed up today with everything you've got, fully committed to putting your best self out there? What if you finally pulled out your envelope and let the world see what you're capable of? I know it sounds intimidating. Trust me, I've been there. There's always that voice in your head that tells you it's too soon, that you're not ready, that you don't have what it takes. But here's the truth. The longer you listen to that voice, the longer you stay stuck in the same place. The only way to break free from that fear is to act, to step out and prove to yourself that you can do it. And it starts with owning your value. I'm not talking about arrogance. I'm not talking about pretending to be someone you're not. What I'm talking about is the quiet confidence that comes with knowing who you are, knowing what you bring to the table, and understanding that you are more than enough. It's not about what others think of you. It's about what you think of yourself. When you realize that your value is not dependent on anyone else's approval, that's when you start moving forward. That's when you start creating the life you want. Now, let's get real for a moment. It's easy to talk about this stuff in theory, but what does it actually look like in practice? How do you pull out your envelope when you've been told your whole life that you're not enough? How do you own your value when everything around you is trying to convince you otherwise? First, you have to understand that this isn't an overnight transformation. It's not something you can flip a switch and suddenly feel like a completely different person. It's a process. It's about building a foundation of self-belief, one step at a time. Start by challenging the limiting beliefs you've held on to. What stories have you been telling yourself about why you can't succeed? What fears are holding you back? Once you identify those beliefs, you can start to question them. Are they really true? Or have you been conditioned to believe them without ever challenging their validity? The next step is to take small, consistent actions that align with your vision. You don't have to make huge, dramatic changes all at once. But you do need to make progress. Take that first step, no matter how small it seems. The more you push yourself outside of your comfort zone, the more you'll begin to see that you're capable of more than you ever imagined. And finally, surround yourself with people who will lift you up. The world is full of people who will try to tear you down, to tell you that you're not good enough, that you don't belong. But there are also people who will support you, who will encourage you to keep going when it gets tough. Seek out those people. They're the ones who will remind you that you have an envelope to pull out and that it's time for you to show the world what you're made of. As you begin this journey, remember one thing: the power is already inside of you. You don't need permission. You don't need validation. You just need to believe that you have something valuable to offer, and then take the leap. When you finally pull out your envelope, you'll see the world in a whole new way. The room will shift, people will notice you, and most importantly, you'll finally see yourself for who you truly are. Someone with unlimited potential, someone capable of changing the game. Now, it's time to stop waiting. It's time to take that first step. It's time to pull out your envelope. And when you do, just remember one thing: the room is waiting for you to change it. As you take that first step, the path ahead may not always be clear. There will be obstacles, there will be moments of doubt, but I want you to remember this: every great achievement started with someone daring to move forward, even when the odds were stacked against them. It's easy to look at people who have made it and think they had it easy, but the truth is, they face their own fears, their own battles, and their own setbacks. The difference is, they kept going. It's about persistence. It's about knowing that you're not defined by the challenges you face, but by how you choose to respond to them. Every setback is just another opportunity to refine your approach, to learn from your mistakes, and to keep going. The more you act, the more you build confidence in your own abilities, and the more you build confidence, the more unstoppable you become. I want to tell you about a man I met a while back. His name is Marcus. When I first met him, he was at a crossroads in his life. He had just lost his job and was struggling to make ends meet. But what struck me about Marcus wasn't his situation, it was his mindset. While most people would have wallowed in their misfortune, he was already thinking about the next step. He wasn't waiting for someone to offer him a handout. He was ready to pull out his envelope. Marcus had been a software developer for years, but he'd always been afraid to take the leap into entrepreneurship. He worried about failing, about not being good enough, but when he lost his job, he realized that he had nothing left to lose. So he decided to take a chance on himself. He started working on an idea he had been sitting on for months. It was a simple app that solved a common problem he had noticed among his friends. But for Marcus, it wasn't just about the app. It was about proving to himself that he could do it. The first version of his app wasn't perfect. It was rough around the edges, and he didn't have the resources to market it the way he wanted. But what he had was determination. He launched it anyway. And guess what? It didn't go viral on day one. It didn't even get hundreds of downloads. But the few people who used it loved it. They saw the value, and over time, word spread. Marcus didn't give up because of early setbacks. Instead, he used those moments to learn, to improve, and to refine his product. It wasn't easy and it wasn't fast, but slowly, his app started gaining traction. Within a year, Marcus had gone from being unemployed to running a profitable business. And it all started because he stopped waiting for the perfect moment and simply took action. The point of Marcus's story is simple. He didn't need to be the best from the beginning. He didn't need everything to be perfect. He just needed to take the first step and keep moving forward. And that's what I want for you. You don't need to wait until everything aligns perfectly, because it never will. The perfect moment doesn't exist. What exists is the decision to act, to move forward with what you have, and to trust that your efforts will pay off. Success is not about having the perfect plan or the perfect product. It's about having the courage to start and then the persistence to keep going even when the journey gets tough. So as you move forward in your journey, I want you to embrace the process. I want you to see each challenge not as an obstacle, but as an opportunity to learn and grow. And when the inevitable setbacks happen, and they will, remember that the only real failure is not trying at all. One of the most powerful lessons I've learned in my own journey is that success doesn't come from avoiding failure. It comes from learning how to navigate it. Failure isn't a stop sign. It's a stepping stone. The people who achieve great things are not the ones who avoid failure. They're the ones who learn how to bounce back stronger each time they fall. Take a moment and reflect on where you are right now. What have you been putting off because you're afraid of failing? What dreams have you kept in the back of your mind because you don't feel ready? Now, think about this. You'll never feel 100% ready. But that doesn't mean you can't start. It doesn't mean you can't move forward. The key is to start with what you have, where you are, and take it one step at a time. And remember, when you pull out your envelope, when you bring your true value to the table, something shifts in the room. It's like flipping a switch. The people who doubted you, they start to pay attention. The ones who didn't believe in you, they start to see you differently. The world will begin to recognize your worth, not because you've earned their approval, but because you've earned it within yourself first. As you continue on this path, there will be days when you feel like you're not making progress. But let me tell you something, progress isn't always linear. Sometimes the smallest steps are the ones that lead to the biggest breakthroughs. So don't get discouraged if things don't happen overnight. Keep moving forward. Keep showing up. And keep pulling out your envelope. You're going to face challenges. You're going to face doubt. But you'll also experience moments of growth and success that will make all the struggles worthwhile. And when that happens, when you finally realize that you've made it to where you've always wanted to be, you'll understand the power of that moment, the power of owning your value, of stepping into your purpose, and of creating the life you deserve. So take the first step today. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Pull out your envelope and watch the world shift around you. This is your time. Don't let it pass by. As you take that first step, don't be surprised when things start to move in ways you didn't expect. That's the beauty of stepping into your own power. The universe starts to align itself with your actions. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach will start to appear. Connections will be made, doors will open, and you'll find that suddenly you're not as alone in your journey as you once thought. I want you to understand something that I've learned the hard way. Success is not about waiting for opportunities to come knocking. It's about creating those opportunities by showing up consistently and adding value to the world. When you show up with that envelope in your hand, when you walk into the room with the full knowledge of your worth, something shifts inside of you. You begin to see the world not as a series of obstacles, but as a field of possibilities. One thing I can promise you, the world doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about the reasons why you think you can't succeed. It only cares about what you bring to the table. And when you stop waiting for permission and start creating your own path, the world has no choice but to take notice. Think about the great entrepreneurs, the world changers, the visionaries, people like Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, and Sarah Blakely. None of them waited for someone to tell them they were ready. They simply saw a need and decided to fill it. They understood that the secret wasn't to wait for the stars to align, but to align their actions with their vision. Take Jeff Bezos. When he started Amazon, he didn't have all the answers. He didn't know it would become the global giant it is today. All he knew was that there was a better way to shop online. And he took that idea and turned it into something real. His success didn't come from following a perfect blueprint. It came from his willingness to try, to fail, and to keep moving forward no matter what. This is the same principle you need to apply to your own life. It's about moving forward with purpose, even when the path isn't clear. When you step into the unknown, you start creating your own reality. Every action you take will bring you closer to your goals, even if it doesn't seem like it at the time. Every single step counts. Every moment of hesitation or self-doubt you push through becomes part of your success story. But here's the secret. You have to believe that your story is worth telling. You have to believe that your envelope, your unique value, is something the world needs to see. When you believe that, nothing can stop you. People will try to knock you down, but they won't be able to take away what you've already built inside yourself. Your confidence, your belief in your worth, will act as your armor. Now, let's talk about the moments when you feel like giving up. Because I can promise you, there will be times when you want to quit. There will be times when you'll wonder if it's worth it, when things seem too hard, when the failures pile up faster than you can handle. But in those moments, I want you to remember this. Your struggles aren't there to break you. They're there to build you. When I first started, I faced rejection after rejection. There were moments when I questioned everything I was doing. I wondered if I was on the right path, or if I was just wasting my time. But every time I fell, I picked myself up. Every time I failed, I learned something new. And slowly but surely I began to realize that those failures weren't setbacks, they were lessons. They were the stepping stones to my success. So the next time you feel like throwing in the towel, remember that failure is just another part of the process. Don't let it define you. Let it refine you. Each time you get back up, you're building your strength, your resilience, and your confidence. And when you finally reach your goal, you'll realize that the journey, the struggles, the setbacks, the challenges was what made the victory so much sweeter. Let's shift gears a bit. I want you to think about the people around you, the ones who will try to hold you back, the ones who won't understand your vision, the ones who will doubt you. We all have them in our lives, whether they're family, friends, or strangers, who think they know what's best for us. These people may not always mean to hold you back. They might be projecting their own fears, their own limitations, onto you. But here's the truth. The only opinions that matter are the ones you choose to believe. The only voice you need to listen to is your own. So when someone tells you that you can't do something, that you're not good enough, that you'll never make it, remember, those are just their limitations, not yours. Don't let anyone else's fear dictate your future. When you walk into that room with your envelope in hand, ready to show the world what you're capable of, you'll find that most of the doubters fade into the background. They may have had something to say when you were still finding your footing, but once you start making moves, their words won't matter anymore. You'll be too busy focusing on your own journey to let anyone else's negativity hold you back. And this is where the magic happens. This is when you begin to see the fruits of your labor. When you start owning your value, when you stop waiting for someone to tell you that you're ready, everything starts to fall into place. The people who were once skeptical will begin to take notice. The doors that were once closed will begin to open, and you will find yourself in rooms you never imagined you'd be in, with opportunities you once thought were out of reach. But here's the thing, you made it happen. It wasn't luck. It wasn't chance. It was your ability to believe in your worth, to take that first step, and to keep moving forward when the road got tough. So as you continue on this path, don't just show up. Own the room. Show the world that you're here to stay. And remember, every time you pull out your envelope, you're changing the game. You're proving that you're not just another person waiting for a seat at the table. You're someone who is bringing something to the table that no one else can offer. And that, my friend, is how you make an impact. This is your moment. This is your time to shine. So go ahead, take that first step, pull out your envelope, and change the room. The world is waiting for you. Now, I know this isn't a smooth, linear road. There will be moments when it feels like everything is working against you. The doubts, the obstacles, the unexpected challenges, they'll all try to make you question your path. And in those moments, it's crucial to remember that growth is messy. It's never perfect, it's never without struggle, but that's exactly what makes it worth it. Think back to when you were first learning to walk. As a child, you didn't give up after falling the first time, or the second, or the 100th. You kept going. You kept trying because deep down you knew something important, that each fall was just a step closer to standing tall. You knew that falling was a part of the process, not the end of it. And that's the mindset you need to carry forward as you build this new life, as you pull out your envelope and change the room. Let's talk about the importance of resilience. When I look back at my own journey, what stands out more than anything is the times I didn't quit. I didn't quit when I felt defeated. I didn't quit when things seemed impossible. I didn't quit when people told me it wasn't going to work. The ability to keep moving forward, to keep showing up even when you don't feel like it, is what separates those who succeed from those who don't. Now you might be thinking, but how do I keep going when it feels like I'm hitting a wall? When the road seems too long and too hard? The truth is, you keep going because that's all you can do. You can't control the external world. You can't control the opinions of others or the challenges that come your way. But what you can control is how you respond. You get up, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward. Even on the tough days, even when you don't feel like it, you keep pulling out your envelope. And here's something that may surprise you. Those challenges, the tough moments, the setbacks, they're the things that will make you stronger in the end. Each time you face adversity and push through, you learn more about yourself. You grow, you adapt, and you get better. Eventually, you'll look back and realize that the very things that seemed like roadblocks were actually the lessons that shaped you into the person you're becoming. Now, let's talk about something crucial. The power of your story. Each time you pull out your envelope, you're not just offering a product, a service, or a solution. You're offering your unique story, your experience, and your journey. People connect with stories, not just facts and figures. Your story is what sets you apart from everyone else. It's what makes you memorable. It's what makes you human. Think about the most successful entrepreneurs or influencers in the world today. What do they all have in common? They don't just sell a product, they sell a story. They show up with vulnerability, authenticity, and a willingness to share their journey. People resonate with that. People don't just want to buy into your business, they want to buy into you. This is why it's so important that you stop hiding your story. Stop being afraid to show the world who you are, what you've been through, and what you're capable of. Your experiences, good and bad, are what make you unique. They're what give you the edge. The moment you start owning your story, you'll begin to see the world respond to you in ways you never expected. Remember, no one else can tell your story the way you can. No one else has lived your experiences, seen the world through your eyes, or walked the path you've walked. So don't hide that. Don't let fear or insecurity keep you from sharing what you've learned. When you pull out that envelope, you're not just showing up with a solution, you're showing up with your truth. And here's the beauty of it. When you own your story, you attract the people who need to hear it. You draw in those who will support you, those who will believe in you, and those who will become part of your journey. They'll see the value in what you bring because they'll understand that your worth isn't just in what you do, it's in who you are. Now, let's zoom out for a second. Look at the big picture, this journey you're on, this process of showing up and pulling out your envelope. It's not just about the immediate results. It's about setting the foundation for the rest of your life. Every action you take, every risk you embrace, every time you push past your fear, you are laying the groundwork for a future that's built on your terms. And what does that future look like? It looks like freedom. Freedom to create, to live life on your own terms, to make decisions based on your values, not based on what others think of you. It's the freedom that comes when you stop asking for permission and start demanding respect. When you realize that your worth is not up for debate, that you don't need anyone to validate your existence because you've already validated yourself. The world is full of opportunities, but you won't see them if you're constantly hiding behind self-doubt, waiting for the perfect moment, or hoping that someone will give you a seat at the table. You already have a seat. You just have to pull out your envelope, own your story, and claim it. And here's the truth. As you continue to grow and evolve, the rooms you find yourself in will change. You'll stop walking into places where you don't belong and start walking into places where your presence is expected. People will start looking to you for answers. They'll want to hear your story, learn from your experiences, and tap into your knowledge. You'll become the person who inspires others to do the same. So as you move forward on this journey, remember that every step you take is a step closer to your true self. You are not defined by your mistakes, your past, or your failures. You are defined by what you choose to do next. You are defined by your ability to rise above the challenges, to keep going when it feels impossible, and to continue showing up as the person you were always meant to be. This is your time. Don't let it pass by. The room is waiting for you to step into it. The world is waiting for you to pull out your envelope and change everything. And when you do, when you finally realize that you've always had what it takes, you'll understand the power of that moment. So, go ahead, take the step, own the room, and show the world that you're not just another person in the crowd. You're the one they've been waiting for. As you continue to walk this path, there will be moments when you'll feel like you're standing at the edge of something huge, like the weight of your dreams and ambitions is pressing down on you, asking if you really have what it takes to go further. And in those moments, I want you to remember something. This is the moment you've been preparing for. It's easy to think that success is something that happens overnight, but the truth is, success is built one small decision at a time. Every choice you make to show up, to push forward, to believe in yourself even when no one else does, Those choices are what build the foundation for the life you want to create. Let's go back to the envelope for a second. When you pull it out and show the world what you're capable of, it's not just a one-time thing. It's a shift in who you are and how you see yourself. Each time you step into that room, you're not just taking your seat at the table, you're reshaping the entire table. You're telling the world, I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere. That's the power of owning your value. That's the power of stopping the cycle of waiting for permission and starting to create the opportunities yourself. This is when your life changes from a passive waiting game to an active creation process. You stop hoping for things to get better, and you start making them better. You stop waiting for a seat at the table and start building your own table, one where you control the narrative. You've probably heard the phrase, fake it until you make it, and while there's some truth to that in terms of confidence and projecting the right energy, I think a more powerful version of that is, be it until you become it. You don't have to wait to be successful to act like you are. You don't need to wait for the world to hand you your spot. You create that spot. And every time you show up, every time you pull out your envelope, you're making the world see you the way you know you should be seen. And here's the thing, no one will ever see your value the way you do. It's not their job, it's yours. If you wait for someone to validate your worth, you'll spend your entire life waiting. But when you show up, unafraid and unapologetic about what you have to offer, the right people will take notice. And more importantly, the right opportunities will come your way. Look, no one's journey to success is a straight line. There will be ups, there will be downs, and there will be times when you wonder if it's worth it. But every single part of this journey, the setbacks, the failures, the moments when you feel like you can't go on, are what prepare you for the next step. They teach you resilience. They show you what you're made of. And most importantly, they remind you that you are capable of so much more than you realize. One of the most powerful things you can do right now is embrace the process. Don't rush it. Don't try to skip steps. Trust that each moment, even the challenging ones, is contributing to your growth. The person you are today isn't the person you'll be tomorrow. Every time you show up, every time you act in alignment with your goals and your vision, you are becoming someone new. And eventually, you'll look back and realize that you didn't just achieve success. You transformed into the kind of person who can't help but succeed. Remember that the greatest success stories are never about the destination. They're about the journey. They're about the moments when things seemed impossible, when failure was staring you in the face, but you kept going anyway. And that's the kind of person you are becoming. The kind of person who doesn't back down when things get tough, who keeps showing up no matter what, who pulls out their envelope and makes the world take notice. This is about creating a life that reflects who you are, not who you're told you should be. This is about living authentically without apologies, when you stop trying to fit into someone else's mold, when you stop waiting for permission. That's when the magic happens. That's when everything starts to click into place. So as you take the next step, I want you to do so with full confidence. You are ready, you are enough, you've already proven to yourself that you can do this, you've already shown that you can rise above any challenge, that you can push through fear, and that you can pull out that envelope and make a real impact. Don't wait for someone else to give you a chance. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Your moment is now. And when you own your power, when you finally step into your true worth, you'll see how quickly the world starts to respond. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach will begin to fall into place. People will start seeking you out instead of the other way around. You'll start creating the life you've always dreamed of, on your own terms. This is your time. This is your moment to shine. Step forward, pull out your envelope, and change the game. Don't hold back. The world is waiting for what only you can offer. And when you look back on this moment, when you see the transformation you've made, you'll realize that the journey wasn't just about success. It was about becoming the person you were always meant to be. So go ahead, take that first step, own it. The world is yours for the taking. As you continue on this journey, you'll start to see things unfold in ways that seem almost magical. But I promise you, it's not magic. It's the power of consistency, resilience, and the unshakable belief that you have something incredible to offer. And that belief, it's contagious. People will feel your energy, your drive, and your authenticity. They'll begin to gravitate toward you, not because of what you've accomplished so far, but because they see the potential in you, the same potential you now see in yourself. Now let's talk about the fear. Yes, fear. It's something that we all face, no matter how successful we become, no matter how far we've come. But here's the truth about fear. It's not something to avoid, it's something to embrace. Fear is a signal that you're doing something right. It means you're stepping outside of your comfort zone. It means you're pushing yourself to grow, to evolve, to take on something bigger than you've ever tried before. And that's where the magic happens. Think about the last time you felt fear, truly felt it. Was it before you took a big step in your life? Was it before you made a decision that could change everything? You see, fear is a natural part of the process, but it doesn't have to paralyze you. If you can learn to lean into it, to recognize it as the growth signal it truly is, you'll find yourself taking bigger and bolder steps than you ever thought possible. But here's the kicker. Fear is only powerful if you let it control you. The moment you decide to act despite the fear, that's when you begin to shift the dynamic. That's when you start to see things change around you. This is where confidence comes in. Confidence doesn't come from being fearless. It comes from doing it anyway. It comes from taking action, even when you don't have all the answers, when the road ahead is unclear, and when the fear is loud in your ear, telling you that you can't do it. But you do it anyway. You take the step, you pull out your envelope, and you change the room. Now imagine this. You're in a meeting, a room full of people who seem to have it all together. They're confident, they're successful, they know exactly what they're doing. And then there's you. You might feel like an outsider at first. You might think you don't belong there. But here's the truth. You do belong there. And the moment you step into that room with your envelope in hand, with the knowledge of your value at your core, everything shifts. The energy of the room changes. The people in that room who once seemed so untouchable, so far ahead, will begin to see you differently. They'll see the strength, the conviction, and the potential in you, and that's the moment everything begins to unfold. They might not know it yet, but the truth is that you have something they need. Not because of your title or your resume, but because of the energy and value you bring with you. You are no longer just a passive participant in the game. You're the one setting the tone. You're the one changing the dynamic. And when you start to understand that, when you start to recognize the power that lies within you, you begin to create your own reality. You see, the world doesn't just give you opportunities, it responds to you. The more you show up, the more you put yourself out there, the more the world will open up for you. The universe will start aligning itself with your actions. Things will fall into place in ways you didn't even imagine. You'll start to attract the right people, the right opportunities, the right circumstances, because you're no longer waiting for them to come to you. You're making them happen. And there will be moments when you'll think, this is too much. I can't keep doing this. But that's the moment when you need to push the hardest. That's the moment when the magic is really happening. Every ounce of resistance you feel is just the universe testing your commitment. Are you ready for this level of success? Are you ready to embrace the person you're becoming? You will be, but you can't back down now. This is the moment you've been waiting for. You've done the hard work of stepping into your power. Now it's time to stay the course, keep moving forward, and keep showing up as the person who will not back down. And let me tell you something. When you do that, when you keep pushing, the rewards are unimaginable. Every time you pull out your envelope, Every time you show up with your unique value, you're building a foundation. That foundation will grow stronger with each step you take. And before you know it, the life you've been dreaming of will be right in front of you, built on your terms, by your hands. But it all starts with one thing: believing in yourself. Believing that you have what it takes, that you deserve to be in that room, that your voice matters, that you have something to offer that no one else can. So, here's what I want you to do. The next time you find yourself in doubt, the next time you feel that fear creeping in, I want you to pull out your envelope. Whether it's in a literal room full of people or in the quiet of your own mind, I want you to show up for yourself. I want you to declare to the world that you are here, that you are worthy, and that you're not going anywhere. And when you do that, when you step into your own power unapologetically, the world will have no choice but to follow your lead. You're not just a passive participant in this life. You are a creator, a disruptor, a person who brings something unique to the table. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you start acting on it, the sooner everything in your life will begin to transform. This is the moment. This is your time. Step into it. Don't hold back. The world is waiting for you to make your move. So go ahead. Pull out your envelope, change the game, own the room. The world has never seen anyone quite like you before, and now it's time for them to see exactly what you're capable of. As you step forward with your envelope in hand, ready to claim your space in the world, something powerful happens. The energy shifts. What once seemed impossible begins to feel inevitable. And that's when the magic happens. You will notice that opportunities, connections, and breakthroughs begin to find their way to you in unexpected ways. This is not luck. It's the law of momentum, of showing up with authenticity and purpose. But here's the thing. Momentum doesn't stop at one step. It's built on the consistency of showing up, on the continual belief in your own value. The more you put your true self out there, the more you own your unique strengths, the more the world aligns itself with your energy. The key is to keep moving, even when things seem uncertain, even when the path ahead isn't crystal clear. Because clarity comes through action. It comes from walking the path, one step at a time. Now let's talk about patience. As you continue this journey, there will be moments when you feel frustrated. You might think you're not moving fast enough or achieving results as quickly as you'd like. I want to remind you, success isn't a sprint. It's a marathon. The overnight success stories you hear, they're the exceptions, not the rule. Most success is built over time, brick by brick, step by step. Each moment of growth, each challenge you overcome, is a part of the process that leads to your bigger vision. Patience isn't about waiting around without action. It's about trusting that every move you make is building towards something greater. It's about knowing that each decision you make today is laying the foundation for the life you want tomorrow. Don't rush it. Enjoy the ride. Celebrate the small wins. They all add up. There will also be moments when you encounter resistance. The people around you might not understand what you're doing or why you're doing it. They might doubt your vision, question your approach, or even discourage you. But here's the thing, their doubt is not your truth. Remember that when you pull out your envelope, you're not asking for anyone's approval. You're showing them something powerful, something they might not have seen before. You're showing them a side of yourself that they didn't know existed, and that's not their fault. They haven't walked your path. They haven't experienced the things you've experienced. They haven't yet seen the full potential of what you can do. The world tends to project its limitations onto others. And when people see someone stepping into their power, stepping into their worth, they often try to hold them back because it makes them uncomfortable. Your growth will challenge the status quo, and that's a good thing. Don't shrink in the face of resistance. Embrace it. Let it fuel you. Every doubter, every naysayer is just another reminder that you're on the right path. One of the greatest gifts you can give yourself on this journey is self-compassion. We are often our own harshest critics, expecting perfection from ourselves and beating ourselves up when we don't meet our own standards. But perfection isn't the goal. Progress is. So when you stumble, when you face a setback, don't be too hard on yourself. Acknowledge it, learn from it, and then keep going. Every mistake is just another step toward mastery. Remember, every great achiever has had to endure their own battles, face their own doubts, and weather their own failures. It's the ones who don't give up, who don't let their setbacks define them, that eventually make it. And I'm telling you, you have what it takes to be one of those people. And as you continue to build, to grow, and to change the narrative around you, you'll start to see a shift in how others perceive you. People will begin to take notice not just of what you do, but of who you are. They'll see your consistency, your dedication, your authenticity, and that's what will ultimately earn you respect. It's not about trying to please everyone. It's about staying true to your vision and your purpose, no matter what others think. Let's take this a step further. When you truly begin to own your value, something incredible happens. You start attracting opportunities and people that match your energy. It's like the universe starts sending you signs, opening doors you didn't even know were there, because you're now vibrating at a frequency that matches your desires. This doesn't mean that every step will be easy. It doesn't mean that everything will go exactly as you planned. But it does mean that the universe will begin to align with your energy. People will start to see you for the value you bring, not just in business or success, but in life. You will become the kind of person others turn to for inspiration, advice, and guidance, because you've demonstrated that you know what it means to persevere, to show up, and to own your worth. That's how real change happens. It's when you show the world the power that lies within you, not just through your successes, but through your resilience, your character, and your willingness to keep going when things get tough. And as you continue to evolve, your path will become clearer, the opportunities will become more abundant, and the people who are meant to be part of your journey will start to show up. Now, here's the big truth. You are the author of your story. No one else can write your narrative. They might try to influence it, they might try to hold you back, but in the end, the pen is in your hands. Every decision you make, every step you take, is writing the next chapter of your life. So don't let anyone else dictate your story. You are the protagonist. You are the hero of your own narrative. It's time to stop waiting. It's time to stop asking for permission. The world is waiting for you to step into your power. Your envelope is in your hands, and it's time to show the world what you've got. Don't hold back. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for the stars to align. Pull out that envelope and let the world see who you truly are. Because once you do, everything will change. You will change. And the world will never be the same. As you pull out that envelope and show the world your true value, something shifts in you. It's like the world that once seemed vast and intimidating begins to make sense. You realize that you are no longer a passive observer in your own life, waiting for things to happen. No, now you are the one making things happen. And when that moment of realization hits, everything becomes possible. The doors that once seemed closed begin to crack open. Opportunities you once thought were beyond your reach suddenly appear. The people who once doubted you now look at you with a new sense of respect because they can see something in you that they hadn't before, your unwavering belief in yourself. This is the beauty of stepping into your power. When you show the world your true worth, it mirrors that back to you. The confidence you project becomes a magnet, pulling the right opportunities, connections, and experiences into your life. It's like a cosmic feedback loop, one where you give and the universe gives right back. But here's something crucial to understand. This isn't about external validation. Yes, the world will start responding to your energy, but your real power lies in how you respond to yourself. The more you value yourself, the less you need validation from others. It becomes about you standing firm in your own truth, no matter what others say or do. It's about owning your space in the world and knowing that no one, no circumstance, no challenge can take that from you. This is where many people get stuck. They rely too much on external validation. They wait for others to tell them they're good enough, smart enough, capable enough. But the moment you stop seeking approval and start giving it to yourself, everything changes. You become unstoppable. Because when you truly believe in your worth, nothing can shake that foundation. And let's not pretend that this is all going to be smooth sailing. There will still be challenges ahead. But now, with each obstacle, you'll face it differently. You'll see it as just another opportunity to grow, another lesson to learn. You'll have the strength to overcome setbacks because you know deep down that the value you bring to the table is undeniable. The world will throw curveballs at you. People will disappoint you. Things will go wrong, and some days will feel impossible. But in those moments, you won't collapse under the weight of adversity. Instead, you'll rise. You'll rise because you've built something stronger than success. You've built resilience. You've built confidence in your own ability to face challenges, to keep moving forward no matter what. And this is the key to true success. It's not about avoiding hardship. It's about how you respond to it. It's about rising every time you fall and continuing to show up for yourself. And as you continue on this journey, remember, you're not doing this for anyone else. Yes, you will inspire others. Yes, you will impact the people around you. But at the end of the day, this is for you. This is about living your truth, fulfilling your potential, and showing the world what you're capable of, not for their approval, but for your own. You deserve to live a life that feels authentic to you. You deserve to experience the kind of success that only comes from showing up as your true self, unapologetically and with full confidence. Don't let anyone or anything make you believe that you're anything less than extraordinary. And when you hit those tough moments, when you start to doubt whether this journey is worth it, remind yourself of why you started. You didn't start this journey to fit in or to make others happy. You started this journey because you knew there was something bigger inside of you, something that deserved to be shared with the world. And now, with every step you take, you are doing just that. You are becoming the person you were always meant to be. The person who doesn't just wait for life to happen, but makes life happen. The person who shows up, owns their worth, and pulls out their envelope every single time, no matter the circumstances. And when you get to the point where you've achieved what you once thought was impossible, when you look back at everything you've accomplished, you'll realize something powerful. All of it was possible because you believed in yourself first. You didn't wait for the world to tell you that you were ready. You took that leap, you showed up with your value, and you kept pushing forward until the world had no choice but to take notice. This is just the beginning. You're still in the process of becoming the version of yourself that will achieve everything you've ever dreamed of. The journey doesn't end here. It only gets better from here. So keep going. Keep pulling out your envelope. Keep showing up for yourself. Keep creating the life that only you can create, because the world is waiting for you to make your mark. And I know that when you do, it will be a mark that lasts forever. You have everything you need within you. Now go out and let the world see what you're made of. As you move forward, take a moment to recognize how far you've come and how much further you can go. You've already taken the hardest step, showing up, stepping into your power, and deciding that your value is something the world can't ignore. This isn't just about reaching a destination, it's about evolving into the person you were always meant to be. Your story is still unfolding, and every step you take from here will be another page in that story. And when you look back one day, you'll see that the path you've walked wasn't defined by obstacles or fears, but by your unwavering belief in yourself, your resilience, and your courage to keep going. So as you finish reading these words, know this: your journey is just beginning. The envelope you've pulled out is the key to unlocking even greater things ahead. The world is ready for what you have to offer. You are ready for what's coming next. This is your time. Make it count. You are more than capable of everything you've dreamed of, and then some. Go, show the world who you are, and remember, the room is yours, the game has changed, and you've already won.